Well, here we have a green tomato. It's just the perfect size. Not too big, not too small. And that's the tomato I'll pick for tonight's fried green. Not too small. And that's the tomato I'll pick for tonight. Well, we're just getting started to fry the green tomatoes that we picked this morning, as well as the squash flowers that were also picked this morning and kept in the refrigerator with moist paper towels. The one piece of instrument that I would like to talk about before we start is it's critically important to know the right temperature, certainly of the frying oil. So one of the most important instruments that you can have in your kitchen is a thermometer, a reliable thermometer. Now this thermometer is specifically made for cooking sugar, syrups, and frying. It goes up to about 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So right now I'm preheating the oil to 350 degrees. And the other thing that I like to point out is that I use a slip. Just a slip is simply a combination of 3/4 cup white flour to 1 cup of water. And to that I added a little bit of turmeric for color. And I added some combination of 3/4 cup white flour to 1 cup of water. And to that I added a little bit of turmeric for color. And I added breadcrumbs, and they're Japanese breadcrumbs. But now they're easily available in most grocery stores. And they're much better than some other spices to give it a color and taste. That's strictly up to your personal taste. But the main thing that I like to point out is the breadcrumbs. These are special breadcrumbs called panko. Well, what we're going to prepare now is fried green tomatoes, a great southern dish. We picked these green tomatoes from the garden this morning, as you might remember. And I have a slip. So we have the green tomatoes here that I sliced in approximately 1/4 inch thick. And I like to show you another gadget. You know, I'm a gadget freak. I love this knife. I think it's called a tomato knife, I'm not sure, but it has a very sharp, serrated edge that remains sharp for the life of the knife. It's a very thin blade, and it has holes in the middle, and that prevents fruit and cheese from sticking to the knife blade. So you can very easily cut tomatoes and cheese without fear of the knife getting stuck to the tomato or the cheese. So the first thing I'm going to do is to dip the tomatoes in the slip. And then I'll place them in the panko plate. Now we'll place a little more panko on top. Watching the temperature of the oil here, make sure it stays at 350. It doesn't get too much hotter than that. I use peanut oil because it has a higher smoking point. But for flavor, you certainly could use olive oil as well. Well, these guys look like they're about ready for the frying pan. Don't put too many of them. Make sure that the temperature stays up. Just bubbling away.